Welcome to the Wednesday Match Play, your weekly connection to the biggest and best brands in golf. On this show, you will learn more about the latest golf fashion trends, hear from LPGA and PGA Tour players, get advice on planning your next golf getaway, and much more. Broadcasting live from Bonita Springs, Florida, please welcome your host, on the tee, Ricky Potts.
I'm not sure where I found Amanda Rose, but I'm glad I did. She is hilarious, has a great sense of humor, and really does her due diligence. She hosts the Out of Bounds video series, where she tackles some hot topics in the game of golf. Her videos are short, to the point, and thoroughly enjoyable to watch. She also spent some time at the Golf Channel, and is a really good golfer. On this episode of the Wednesday Match Play podcast, Amanda tells us more about Out of Bounds, discusses wearing shorts on the PGA Tour, and the possibility of a bilingual version of the show. Amanda is a lot of fun, has a ton of energy, and I really enjoyed this conversation. Let's jump into it. Amanda, welcome to the Wednesday Match Play podcast.
Thank you so much for having me, Ricky. I appreciate it.
Looking forward to this conversation because you are incredibly fun. You do a lot of due diligence in the research that you put into your episodes of your show Out of Bounds. So let's start there. You are the host of Out of Bounds. It's just a fun golf YouTube series where you tackle hot topics in the game of golf. What is your background and how do you get started in producing YouTube videos?
Well, thank you very much. I appreciate it. I find myself funny too, so it makes me feel better knowing other people do. But so I went to the University of Florida. I was in the College of Journalism and Communications and trained as a news reporter. So at my time there, we were the local PBS affiliate. So, different days of the week, we'd go out and I'd do stories for our 5 p.m. broadcast, or I'd anchor or whatever. So that's kind of where my not journalistic, but that is where my video experience comes from. And like I said, I am trained as kind of like a news reporter, but I don't really want to talk about dead people. And golf has always been my passion. It's always been the thing that I know way too much about. So I figured I could make golf videos, and it kind of started with me not really knowing how to start, not knowing how to do this. And finally I just went out, I bought a camera, and I was like, all right, I'm going to do something that's kind of like quick hits and kind of snarky, because there are a lot of, brunettes, or just, there's a lot of people talking about golf, especially on major networks and, bigger publications. And there's already people that are talking about that are going to be better at it than I am. So why not do something that no one else is doing? And that's kind of why I wanted to do the snarky, funny, humorous, just everyone saying things that, people are thinking, but they're not going to say it. So I'll say it because I just don't have that much shame. So that's kind of how it started. And, I'm fortunate that I have had a lot of contacts in the golf media world that definitely kind of helped to have other eyes on me when I first started. And it's just kind of been growing since then. And here we are now.
Well, you are funny, so don't let anyone ever tell you you were not.
Thank you.
So the name Out of Bounds is perfect for a show like this. When did you know that was the name? And did you have other names that came up along the way? And quite frankly, I'm surprised there's not another show called that. So kudos to you for claiming that name.
Well, thank you. I really don't for the life of me remember. I think it was just kind of one of those things where I was thinking of golf terms that haven't already been used in another space. Like, you've the takeaway here, or drop zone here, so I was like, all right, well, it's, I'm not traditional. I'm, we already have no laying up. Like, there's just so many other names. And I was like, all right, I haven't heard of any Out of Bounds, but of course there's the very important people on Twitter who like to tell me all the time that there is an Out of Bounds show with, Pat Perez and this and that. And I'm like, dude, they're a radio show. Like, I don't think anyone is gonna confuse me for a 40-year-old man with a beard. Like, I don't think there's a lot of crossover there. So it kind of worked. Yeah, I'm glad there aren't that many Out of Bounds. I have found random radio shows or podcasts or whatever, but as far as videos go, I got lucky because there weren't any Out of Bounds. Because I really had no idea when I started. I didn't know if I'd even do it a second week. So
I love that because that's kind of how this show got started. I was just intrigued by learning more about other people in the golf space. And 133 episodes later, it's still kicking. And I've got a list of people that are coming on the show later this year. And it's cool to see someone that's kind of starting. And I've noticed just in the quality of your content, it's gotten better. It's gotten more succinct. And there's no question that you've definitely got a bright future. And I hope you keep doing the show because there's definitely potential with what you've created.
Well, thank you. I appreciate that. Yeah, it's all been a learning process. Like it's kind of taken its, I started kind of in we call it the brick room. There's brick wall exposed in here. So I started in the brick room. Lighting was terrible, whatever. Didn't really know what I was doing. Went over, set up a green screen. I think I bought it for like $150 on Amazon. Came with lighting stuff. I mean, this stuff's cheap. It gets knocked over all the time. It drives me crazy, but it works. So it's kind of all just been a building on that. And it's tough. It's tough doing your own stuff because I don't have a producer. I don't have someone to tighten up my content or make my jokes funnier or make things flow better. So it's just kind of been me watching a lot of like Conan O'Brien or Jimmy Fallon and just trying to kind of do that, but have my own way of doing it because it's too difficult, I think, just to do like one sentence kind of leading in and then there's the punch. Like that doesn't always work. So it's been a work in progress, but I do appreciate you noticing it has kind of started to get a little bit better.
The PGA Tour is now allowing shorts in practice rounds and pro-ams. You may not know this, but I've got a very strong opinion on this, but that's not for me to discuss tonight. What are your thoughts on the PGA Tour allowing shorts?
It doesn't really bother me. Like, I think as Amanda Rose doing Out of Bounds, it's a great thing for me to make fun of because, I mean, Rob Dameron said on Morning Drive when it was first announced, he said, I have a scale of F, which is Tiger's legs, all the way to A, which is Kisner's caddy, Dwayne Bach. And Phil was kind of there in the middle. So Dameron put him at like a C, when that picture came out with that. So I think it's fun to make fun of, but it really doesn't bother me. I mean, it's kind of one of those things where it's like it doesn't affect me in my personal life. So I just let it go. But it's interesting. Like, I'm not used to seeing pale legs. You're seeing a lot of guys are a lot hairier than you realized. I don't really need to see Tiger's legs, but I think it's fine. They're not doing it during, Thursday to Sunday. It doesn't bother me, but it is fun to make fun of.
You are bilingual. Feel free to answer this question in Spanish, but have you ever considered recording episodes of Out of Bounds in Spanish? That could be fun.
It's possible. The only thing is, so I was actually a Spanish major in college for a little bit, and I studied like 15th century Spanish lit and Siglo de Oro, which was the golden age of Spanish literature. And it's different way, like just different syntax and different verbs and different letters in the different words. And it's weird. So that I'm kind of more of like a classical and studying Spanish in a way. So it's a little bit more difficult for me to talk about it in golf because I've never really been in a situation where I've had to talk about golf in Spanish. So I'm trying to really just kind of brush up and get more of my Spanish and golf lingo going. And then I think there is a definite possibility I might be able to get some bilingual content going at some point.
You're also a golfer. Where do you like to play and what is your index?
I belong to a course near my house. They used to actually host it's hosted some big tournaments in the past, and it's a really great track. We have two courses. Right now I think I'm like a 2.3 or something. I know I've been down to a scratch at one point, but I just don't practice as much as I used to. But it'd be nice. I mean, I still break 80. Sometimes I don't always know where the iron shots are going. My driver's great right now, but I can't really putt, and I don't always know where my irons are going.
I have no idea where my driver is going, so we would be killer in a pro-am together.
Right?
I think I might have heard this before we started recording, but who is Coco?
Coco is my little 10-pound fluff ball nugget that I got from a shelter in Gainesville when I was at the University of Florida. And she is just like the cutest little...
That is awesome. Now, tell me about your internship with the Golf Channel.
Yeah, so I was very lucky. I had the opportunity to intern at Golf Channel about a month after I graduated in 2017. I was with the public relations department, their communications department, and I worked very closely with World Long Drive, actually. So I really didn't know much about the long drivers before getting there. And then by the end, I was just an absolute expert, when it came to people on the long drive tour. So I worked very closely with that. I did just kind of daily email correspondence and different stuff, but it was a great experience. I got to meet a lot of people in the industry. It was awesome. I saw Damon Hack at the PGA show a couple weeks ago, and I was actually filming a segment. He came up, he's like, "It's so great to see you." And like, that meant the world to me. Cause I mean, he doesn't have any reason to, still follow me or anything. And he's followed me since I was just an intern at Golf Channel. So the connections like that I made at Golf Channel, and just the experience, it was so invaluable.
He recently followed me on Twitter, so I think I need to get him on the show too. Now I've got a connection. Like, hey, I know Amanda.
No, he's awesome. He's probably one of the nicest guys you could ever meet. He really is.
So you were in Orlando for the PGA Merchandise Show. I've been a handful of times. It's pretty much otherworldly, but what was your experience like for the PGA Show this year?
It was a lot of fun. I got to do some work with Golf Magazine, or golf.com, I should say. We got to do some fun videos. It was a really interesting experience because you have it chopped up in your head. Like, I've been watching the live from, or whatever with Morning Drive, from the show for years. So I had this whole thing in my head of what it was going to be like. And it was actually very similar to what I thought it was going to be like, which is crazy. But it was a lot of fun. It was very overwhelming. I was exhausted for the next week, but it was a very cool experience. I really can't wait for next year. I have so many ideas for content and stuff I can do next year, even just on my own, because, I'd never been there before, didn't know what to expect. But at least next year, it's okay, this is what I'm going to do one day. This is what I'm going to do the next day. These are going to be video segments I can do. And I just think I don't know. I'm excited for all the content that could come out of it next year.
There's also a lot of really good restaurants and bars on iDrive. I don't know how far up and down iDrive you got, but that could be some content as well.
Yeah, I actually, I was in Orlando for about 9 months when I was with Golf Channel and after that internship. So Orlando's kind of like my second Florida home. I consider Boca Raton like my first Florida home. And then, I got to Orlando, and iDrive was not really somewhere I frequented much. It's kind of fun to go back as a tourist there. But when you're living in Orlando, that's the last place you want to be.
The USGA changed a ton of rules this year, from leaving the pin in to how you drop the ball. What has been your reaction to the changes, and do you think that it will help pace of play, which was, in my understanding, the intention of these changes?
I don't really think it's going to help. I mean, it might. The pin, could help pace of play. I mean, dropping from knee length from a hazard or whatever, I think that's kind of dumb. These people that play golf, they're so old. They can't bend down that far. I have back issues. I don't want to bend down that far. I think that's kind of silly. Putting with the flag stick in, I don't know. I don't love it. It irritates me. And now every time someone putts with the flag in, I can no longer say, oh, 2-stroke penalty, total dad joke. So that's out the window. What else am I going to say on the putting green? So I don't love that. But I mean, I think it's just something we'll all get used to. My dad, when he was a kid, that was the rule. The big thing was, oh, now you can't putt with the flag in. And now, in a video, I had him in a video with me one time, and I think he said, the more things change, the more they stay the same. And I really think that's just so true for golf.
Will you leave the flag in? Because I've been experimenting with it, and I don't think it helps. But at the same time, I'm going to leave it in because I don't want to walk all the way over there, drop it, pick it up, the process.
It really depends. I haven't gotten to play golf really since November. Today, as we're recording this, we had about 5 inches of snow and people were skidding off the road. So, and I'm supposed to play 3 days from now, and I don't know if it's going to happen. So I haven't really tried it much. I never liked practicing with the pin in, even on the putting green. It's just always kind of bothered me. I think it makes the hole look a lot smaller. I mean, I guess statistically, if Bryson says it works, it's got to work, but we'll see.
Now, hang on. Let's not listen to Bryson. He takes 47 minutes to hit a shot from behind a tree. He's got so much analytical stuff running through his head.
He's got to calculate the wind and how much air is actually in the tree and the position of the squirrel's nest. I mean, come on. Give the guy a break.
You're right. The squirrel's nest is a huge component into how that ball is going to come off of the club face. What is your favorite PGA Tour major? You only have 4 to choose from, but I'm curious which one you like best.
It's got to be Augusta. The Masters. I don't know. It's I remember in high school, I would have my iPad and my laptop going whenever it was on. I'd have this Amen corner here and the featured group there. And it used to drive my teachers nuts, but I was like, guys, it's Masters week. You got to leave me alone. Let me do my thing. But it's got to be that. I mean, it's spring is sprung and you hear the birds and all. It's just so beautiful there. But I'm a big fan of the PGA Championship. I love the courses that they play for that major. I think it's incredibly underrated. It is one of the stronger fields of any major, because you do see a lot more guys that are automatically qualified from the European Tour and from the PGA Tour that get in. So, and like I said, I really do. I like those courses a little bit better. Like, I have no interest playing, Bethpage Black with all that fescue, or Chambers Bay a couple years ago when it just looked awful. Like, to me, that's not fun. Bethpage maybe, but like Chambers Bay, no. But with the PGA Championship, I mean, they get to play. You play Valhalla. You play. Like, I know Aronimik has hosted PGA Championships in the past. I think Gary Player won in like '68 or something. But it's like you get those kind of courses that are just really beautiful. Some more classic designs. So I would have to say it's no longer the first and the last major. It's the first and the second major.
Are your plans with what you're doing with video creation to follow in the footsteps of Amanda Balionis and Holly Saunders and go work for a major network? Or are you looking to just create social media content? Kind of what's your plan? I know when you got started, you, no offense, but didn't really know what you were doing, but you figured it out and have come a long way. So what's the future look like for what you're trying to do in terms of creating content?
I have no idea. I think I'm just going to keep doing what I'm doing. I know people are noticing me. Like, people are talking about me. People are seeing my stuff. And there's a reason, people are still following me. So I think, whatever happens, happens. Amanda's made an incredible career for herself. Like, good for her. I think she was kind of at a dead end with PGA Tour, and then she went to Callaway, and then she got the gig on CBS. Like, great for her. Holly has really been able to, I don't want to say rebrand herself, but she's done well for herself on Fox Sports. If the opportunity came crawling, I would absolutely say yes. But it's all about where I'm going to be able to make money and do what I enjoy doing. Like, no matter what I do, I want to still have some aspect of control and creative oversight on the things I do. So if that means just doing more stuff for social media, or doing something with a network, that's great. And at this point, where I am, like, I'm doing well, but I'm really not in a position to turn anything down. So I just think whatever I do will help me take steps to making money, because I mean, that's more what it is. I'm not going to put limits on where I'm going to make money. Yes, I am going to put limits on where I'm going to make money, but I think for me right now, it's like, all right, where's the money? What do I have to do to make it? Like, let's just see what happens. But yeah, I mean, I think, you succeeded in your career once you do hit that major network status, but we'll see. I mean, the internet is crazy. It's growing so much. You look at these people that make a lot of money and are, what is it called? An influencer? Is that the people on social media? I don't even know what that is. But these people are making money. So I'm like, there's got to be money in the internet somewhere. So we will see.
Yes, they're called influencers. I was actually sent to a golf tournament last year to play as a social media influencer. And it was interesting because everyone else that was on the island as an influencer, everyone was on Instagram. It was Instagram this and Instagram stories and Instagram. And I'm like, cool. I might put on an Instagram, but it's going on Twitter and Facebook and my website and YouTube, and it's more than just Instagram. And I think that society gets so cornered into what's popular and what's hot in terms of social networks. I mean, Google Plus, I was a huge fan of Google Plus. It's going away in April, and I personally will lose 55,000 followers and a network of 26,000 golfers that I created, and it's just going to go away. And that's unfortunate, but we have to look at that from a user perspective, is that Facebook could go away tomorrow. And what we do with our content needs to be shared to multiple places, like yourself. So you're sharing your content to Twitter. It's going to YouTube. Where else can people at home see your content? And is it being released anywhere else besides social networks? And have you thought about a podcast? Because I feel like your content, both video and just the audio, could be beneficial in a podcast format.
So I just created one of those Facebook pages for myself. I think I maybe have like 60 followers or likes on there. I need to get going on that. So you can find me, Amanda Rose Golf, on there, Amanda Golf 59 on Instagram as well as Twitter. I am most active on Twitter. I think that's the best place for my wit to come out. I'm not really a fan of wearing makeup or taking a ton of pictures of myself. So Instagram's not my fave. But I have some good Instagram stories occasionally, and sometimes I post a cute pic. But I am more of a Twitter person for sure. And YouTube, if anyone's listening, you're on YouTube, go subscribe. I maybe have like 20 subscribers, and my stuff's pretty funny. So help a sister out.
I love that selfless pitch. I mean, I subscribe. I'm just saying.
Oh, thanks.
So what if the NHL calls tomorrow and says, look, we love what you're doing with golf. Come do that with hockey. Do you have a passion for other sports, or are you golf and golf only?
I absolutely love, well, I don't know if I would say I love the NBA. I love basketball and I love the 76ers. I follow the 76ers more so than I follow the NBA. So I think I could survive doing NBA stuff. Hockey, I really know nothing about, but I'm a fairly quick learner. Like I said, I'm open to that kind of stuff. And I just love sports in general. I love being competitive. I used to be really into watching tennis. Like I, at one point, probably knew as much that was going on in the top 40 world of tennis kind of thing that I did with golf. So that's kind of lacking these days, but I enjoy tennis. I just love sports. I really do. Like sports and like sketch comedy, improv stuff I love. Golf I just know so much about. It's like I might as well utilize all of this useless knowledge that's just like, bobbling around in my head.
There are a lot of great golf courses out there. I'm sure you've played a bunch of good ones, but what is your favorite?
That's a great question. I would say one of my favorite courses that I've ever played was Lake Merced. It's in San Francisco. They play the LPGA Swinging Skirts Championship there. It's right there on I think it's like on like Lake Merced. The course itself has no water hazards, which is really interesting. It's tree lined, thick, rough. I want to say it's like bent grass. I could be totally wrong because I know we are in California, but it's really it's amazing. And once you get up the hill at like one of the holes, you can look over and see Olympic Club, and then TPC Harding Park is right there as well. So that's a really amazing course. That is probably one of my favorite courses. Orange County National is not a bad course. I think played Panther Lake when I lived down there, but I would definitely say Lake Merced is probably my favorite course.
I'm Tiger's biggest fan. I know we were talking about his legs a little bit ago, but let's get serious here. Do you think he breaks Jack's record? Why or why not? And I'm really curious how you respond to this.
I hope he breaks Jack's record because, if you look at 2008, he was set to like at this, if you I said how many majors in 2020 will Tiger have? In 2008, we probably would have been like, oh, I don't know, 25, but that's not really how things panned out. And I think these last kind of almost, oh my God, it's been 10 years, since 2009, since the incident. It's been really just weird. It's like been a weird relationship with Tiger, and I would love to see him win again. I think he definitely he's swinging well. He's driving the ball well. He seems like he's pain or a little like in less pain. I don't want to say pain free, but he looks like he's in less pain. I want him to break it. I don't know if he will. I don't know if at 43 he's going to be able to. There is definitely a chance that he could win another major. I hope he does. I think Phil was 43 or 44 when he won the British Open in 2013. So you look at that and you're like, all right. I mean, Phil's probably the last person I thought that was going to be winning, majors in his 40s. So I think Tiger will add more majors. I don't know if it's going to be 4 more because who knows what his back or his knee is going to be like in another year or 2 years. So I hope he does, but I'm not sure.
And he can't just win 4. It's got to be 5. If he ties it, don't win 4 if you're not going to win 5, because I can't have the tie. It's got to be 5 or 6. And Chip Essig from the PGA was on this show many, many years ago. And I asked him that same question, and I ask every guest that question. And Chip said that if he wins 1 more, that he'll get the motivation and he'll go break the record. That's all he needs is to get 1 more major. And I think that the win last year, coming off of, he was almost done. And there was a point where, as his biggest fan, I was thinking he was never going to swing a club again. And now he's back. He's playing well. He's competing. He's won on tour. And I think this is going to be a fun year for majors. He could win at 2 or 3 of these places. I don't know if he can get it done at Portrush, but I think that there's some potential. Look at Augusta. I feel like he could win at Augusta until he's 50.
No, I would agree with that.
What's next for Amanda Rose? I know you're just getting started with Out of Bounds, but what's next for you in the show?
I'm not really sure. We'll see. We'll see. I'm going down to Myrtle Beach to do some stuff with the Myrtle Beach Golf Hall of Fame. Hootie and the Blowfish will be there with Dustin Johnson. They're both being inducted. So I'm going to do stuff with Myrtle Beach Golf, get some interviews, and Dustin Johnson's opening his golf school. So that's kind of my immediate thing I'm going to be doing. I'm not really sure after that. We'll see. Everything with this, what I've been doing, I've noticed happens very last minute. where it'll be like a week or 2 weeks out. Someone's like, hey, can you do this? I'm like, yeah, okay, absolutely. So I don't have any definitive plans, but hopefully things, now that, bigger golf tournaments are coming up and things are happening, hopefully something will.
Now, when you're in Myrtle Beach, are you going to have time to spend with Darius?
I believe so. I think there's like a couple minutes set aside that I'll be able to talk to Hootie and the Blowfish. I've actually been a big Hootie fan since I was like in 6th grade, and their first album, Cracked Review, came out the same year I was born. So I'll have that to talk about, and hopefully I'll be able to make them feel old and be like, hey, that album is older than me.
That is awesome. Tell Darius I said hello. He follows me on Twitter as well. And I don't know if he knows who I am, but I saw him. He played in the QBE shootout at Tiburon a few months ago. And I didn't get the chance to spend time with him, but he drove his golf cart right by me and he wasn't slowing down. I was either moving or he was hitting me. So I don't think he realized who I was.
That's so funny.
In golf, the 19th hole is a slang term for a bar or a restaurant on or near the golf course, very often in the clubhouse itself. What is your favorite 19th hole, and what are you drinking?
But we have, I think our bar at my club is called Legends, and I'm a gin and tonic kind of person. I prefer diet tonic. I don't really drink soda or sugar. When I was in college, my drink was vodka, water, and lime juice, but I've graduated to gin and tonic with a wedge of lime now.
Did we just become best friends? Because you said diet tonic, and I am obsessed with diet tonic. I drink it by itself if it's too early in the morning to have a cocktail because I love gin and diet tonic. I bet I drink a 2-liter of that every 2 or 3 days because Publix has them buy one, get one free quite often. And I'll buy every single 2-liter of diet tonic they have because I just drink that stuff like water.
Oh my God. I think we did just become best friends, Ricky. Yes.
Amanda, I really enjoy your content. It is short. It's to the point. It is obvious that you do your research before you record an episode. The future is obviously bright for you, and I look forward to what's coming next, even though you don't know what's coming next, which I love because you have no idea where you're going, and that is cool. Regardless of what you do, please keep producing Out of Bounds because it's awesome. You're witty, and I just love the content, and I can't wait for your next episode.
Well, thank you so much, Ricky. I appreciate you having me on.
That puts this instalment of the Wednesday Match Play in the books. But we'll be back next week for another exciting episode of the show. As always, remember to eat, sleep, golf.